Russia says gold is money.
And from Art Berman, he says 2022 world oil supply demand deficit is likely to be the largest in history. And I've previously shared these charts before that compare crude oil and US CPI, and there is a wonderful correlation. And this chart just goes back further, so you can see that if Art's right, and I believe he is, I actually believe he is, that we're gonna have a massive deficit in oil. We're going to see high oil prices remaining for some time, which means we're going to have high CPI, because energy is the foundation of an economy. So I did this video, Prepare for Feminine Starvation, back on the 7th of January this year. And you know what? You know who else is now warning of food shortages?
With regard to food shortages, yes, we did talk about food shortages. And it's going to be real. The price of these sanctions is not just imposed upon Russia. It's imposed upon an awful lot of countries as well, including European countries and our country as well.
And coming in from Reuters, UK's Johnson says there's evidence Russia trying to get around sanctions using gold. Oh, duh. And Professor Werner tweeted, sign of the times, transactions paid in gold a possibility again, as Russia will allow unfriendly countries to pay for natural gas in gold. So looking at this article on NASDAQ, when it comes to our friendly countries like China or Turkey, which don't pressure us, and we have been offering them for a while to switch payments to national currencies like rubles or yuan, so no longer wanting to trade US dollars. Zelvani said during the press conference, with Turkey, it can be lira and rubles, so there can be a variety of currencies, and that's a standard practice. If they want Bitcoin, we'll trade in Bitcoin. Zelvani's statement comes on the heels of President Vladimir Putin's comments on Wednesday demanding that unfriendly countries pay for Russian gas in rubles. Putin's message was clear, but it is unclear whether Russia can unilaterally change existing contracts agreed upon in euros. Yeah, they can, and they will. The State Duma's Energy Committee chair echoed Putin's decision while adding that the country should also accept gold. When we exchange with Western countries, they should pay in hard money, Zelvani said. And hard money is gold. Well, they must pay in currencies which are convenient for us, and that is the national currency, the ruble. That relates to our unfriendly countries. Russia being open to accepting Bitcoin shift the tide, as Putin last year had dismissed the possibility in an interview at the Russian Energy Week event in Moscow. I believe that it has value, Putin said at the time, referring to Bitcoin, but I don't believe it can be used in the oil trade. The current size of the Bitcoin market and its liquidity do pose questions as to whether the peer-to-peer currency could be used widely by countries in international trade at this moment. However, by being open to the possibility and eventually conducting pilot trades with interested parties, Russia could set the stage for an upcoming trend where nations choose to transact in the stateless global monetary system. Now, I've done some videos about all of this situation in Russia and what it means for the US dollar, what it means for gold. I did this video, Zoltan, Gold is King. I'll put a link in the description below if you haven't yet watched it. I also did this video, Power admits US dollar is doomed. And almost a month ago now, I did this video, Russian crisis to push gold to 100k. And this is where Luke Gromen first put out on Twitter his thesis about Russia using gold to get around the sanctions. And one of the reasons why they have been de-dollarizing and building their gold reserves, because they knew that the US government and the West were going to put these sanctions on them. And so they were preparing in advance. Now, what I want to do now is just share with you the latest little thread from Luke regarding the decline of the US dollar. And here's Luke's latest thread. Another big signpost this morning that the post-71 structure of US dollar reserve status he's either trying to emphasize that or he's made a little boo-boo, is changing rapidly. The model of the world exports us stuff and we export the world US dollars is ending. He says, Intel CEO, semiconductors are like oil, making more in the US can avoid global crisis. Now, I'll put a link in the description to this CNBC article. He says, I was literally just talking about this in my recent podcast interview with Grant Williams. Now, if you guys, you got to be a subscriber to Grant's podcast, which I am. I highly recommend you guys join it. If you're not subscribed to it, you guys are missing out. Some of the best conversations on that podcast with some of the best minds in economics and finance. Luke Gromen, when you see Ohio getting an Intel fab and the CEO of Intel saying we're going to make Ohio one of the biggest Intel manufacturing regions in the world. Luke Gromen, what? Ohio was ground zero of the people who took it in the shorts from 1973 to present under this deal. Another semi-fab in Arizona, another semi-fab in Texas. I think you're going to see a lot more of this. And Luke says, I think we are not even the first innings in this reindustrialization of America, but reindustrialization was never going to happen until you change this dollar system and remove treasuries as a primary reserve asset and replaced it with a neutral one. And here we are. And he just finishes it off by sharing his podcast, the link to his podcast with Grant Williams, which I'll put a link in the description below. So there you have it, guys. It's pretty clear that we are going to see an energy shortage. We're going to see high energy costs, and we know the correlation between that and CPI. We're seeing a de-dollarization happening. That is very clear. There's countries that aren't going along with the sanctions. Now we're hearing from Western countries that they're going to start doing stimmy checks to help people with the rising energy costs and the rising food costs. I mean, yeah, we've got inflation, and you want to help the situation by creating more inflation, creating more currency, giving it to people that then go and chase less goods and services. Yeah, that's really going to help with an inflation problem. I don't know what's going on, but Western governments are doing all the right things to destroy our economies. Are they that dumb that they don't know what they're doing? Or they can't be that dumb, right? They're doing this on purpose. What is the end game? What are they trying to achieve? Well, we can go down the whole Great Reset hole, and I definitely think a lot of countries are all in on that, especially in the West. So, anyway, what do you guys think? Love to see your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. If you like this video, please hit that like button. Really do appreciate it. Anyway, take care, and I'll see you all again on another episode of Finance Uncut.